Happy birthdays or birthday, happy belated birthdays in the past, happy future birthdays in the future. My name is Lime Green, and welcome back to the Out of Time podcast. The podcast where you, yes you, request me games, and me play those games. Specifically, this episode is on Sonic Mania. Yes, I've never played a Sonic Mania until you guys requested it. So make sure you vote. If you look at the poll, that will be down below. It seems like Nier Automata is winning so far. So if you guys don't vote, I'm going to be playing that next. Who knows? But more specifically, this episode is going to be on Stardust Speedway Zone. What a mouthful. But let's just jump into Act 1. Act 1. Can I just say, I was praising Press Garden Zone earlier for it being like a ink. What is it? Like a printing house. That's what it is. And it was also a garden, a press garden. But what exactly is a Stardust Speedway? Act 1. It's like a big, almost like a Jack and the Beanstalk type deal, right? I don't really see any. Maybe in the background a little bit. Yeah, the background's kind of starry. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun level. But I really like the cohesion factor. Yeah, you know me. If I were to rank the Sonic levels, this wouldn't be at the bottom, but it would probably be in the middle. The main gimmick is like there's like little plants that you have to jump on, I guess, and like little bug firefly things that come around, and then the boss is like a big firefly guy. And I liked the big firefly guy. He kind of looked like a Kirby. It reminded me of a Kirby boss, rather. Kind of like Kracko, I guess. Not too hard to defeat. But we get into perhaps the most interesting part of Stardust Speedway, in my opinion. You go into the future, and the future is just like a brass instrument world. Like all the platforms are like covering like I want to say Stromboli. That's not what it's called. What's the instrument that starts with an S? Saxophone, that's what it's called. Alright. Well, it looks like you're running on saxophones or something. Still not really like Stardusty. Kind of like more factory-y. But I'll take it. I think I prefer this act to the last one. the main gimmick here is like a bunch of rockets and little claw things that you bounce around on. You get stuck on. I got stuck on this little part with a bunch of bounce pads, and you'd fling yourself around for a little bit. And the boss, I thought, was pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna perhaps anger some people. I think it's Metal Sonic. I know there's Robo Sonic and Metal Sonic, and there's probably a third Sonic. You face Metal Sonic, and then it's like it turns into kind of like a moving side-scrolling level while you face Metal. I'm gonna call him Metal Sonic, and I think that really helps separate Sonic boss fights from other platformers. What am I trying to say? The freedom to being able to move around. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I like being able to run unrestricted, not being confined in a little box. I don't know, but then you go to this area and you gotta bounce this little robot. Why did I say it like that? Robot guy into him. You know, it ain't that hard. I think I died here though. Eventually, you know, you beat him. Eggman's machine blows up, and then Metal Sonic comes down, and that's not it. Then you have to do another little stage where it's you're running, and Metal Sonic, he's got, you know, trying to trip you up again. And it's like, all right, you know, I've done this before. But then Eggman throws, I guess, a Chaos Emerald or whatever it's called, a gem, and that powers up Metal Sonic, and he becomes like, I don't even know what to call it, like a behemoth, metal monster of sorts. And I died so many times at this part, I don't even know. And it sends you all the way back. People say in, you know, Mario games, they're so tired of the live system in like Odyssey, or, you know, they had to like reinvent the whole system for that game. Let's talk about Sonic Mania. Like, holy. And eventually I pushed through it. The giant metal Sonic monster just lasers at you. I think he's got some rockets. It's a whole mess. Eventually you push through it, and then Eggman at the end, he like warps reality with his Chaos Emerald and sends you to Hydrocity Zone. So that's what we'll be doing next episode, or rather talking about next episode. But for the rest of the episode, we're going to be talking about Mega Man Battle Network 2, because that's what I've been committing to. So, for all you Sonic people out there who are like, well, what exactly is the Mega Man Battle Network series? It's an RPG series that originated on the Game Boy Advance, and it's an it's a wacky series, to put bluntly. It's where it really focuses on like the online aspect, of the early 2000s. Focuses on like this kid named Lan, and he can like go into the internet, and I'm kind of paraphrasing a lot, and he can fight online crime through the help of MegaMan, who interacts with the world because he is a digital entity. I think that kind of, for the most part, explains most of it. Well, as being as spoiler free as I can. And this is, part 2 of Mega Man Battle Network 2. I did a whole series on Mega Man Battle Network 1. If you want to jump into any point in the Battle Network series, I'd say if you want to start from the first one, you can. But a lot of people would say you can start from the second one. So, last time we took on... Also, I just want to say, Battle Network, it's insane. For all you Sonic fans who are like, what the heck's going on? You're gonna hear it. So last time we took on Quickman. He set up a bunch of bombs that exploded, or tried to explode, throughout the entire campsite that we're staying at. And then we end up back in ACDC town, and we're just milling about, and then all of a sudden a random balloon comes in, and it's like, what's up with the balloon? And there's chip data on the balloon, and it turns out the chip data is from we found out it says, will you be my pen pal? And it's from Yumland. And it feels like going to Yumland is like a whole adventure in itself. And I'm like going down like let's play walkthrough to refresh what's going on here, because it's been a while since I've done this. So you have to navigate your way to Yumland, and also do a couple side missions. Mega Man Battle Network 1 did not have side missions, and for better or worse, I'm not kind of jiving with these side missions, honestly. I feel like you don't really get too much, but maybe that's just me. They give you a couple of missions. You gotta meet up with people. You gotta do some old-fashioned virus busting, and then you gotta deliver or enjoy Kotoboki. Deliver some bug frags. Get some odd progs. It's a whole scene. And then eventually, once you wrap that up, they were like, hey, this might be why I don't like the side quests, because they're back to back. Then it's like, hey, why don't you go upgrade your license, like in Custom Robo? they're like, why don't you upgrade your license? Your, not robo license, but your, I'm not sure what you'd call it, your net navi license. Is that what's called? Something license. So you get that. Then after seemingly endless side quests, you end up in Yumland. And I actually remember why I hated all those side quests. I actually forgot like what was going on in the one side quest. And I put down the game. And I was like, alright, I forgot what was going on in the side quest. And I'm too what's the word? I guess used to modern games where it's like, big crazy taxi arrow, this is where you go. And Mega Man Battle Network 2, the only way I would know what is going on in the side quest is if I would go all the way down to the little task center or whatever and read the sign and see what's going on again. Yeah, that's too much work. Too much work, Mega Man Battle Network 2. Anyway, you get to Yumland, and it's a country, which is a strange name for a country. I'll just say up front. There's a lot of panels all around the place. Kind of like Sabrina's gym from Pokemon. Earlier, we got introduced to what are they called officially? Gospel, the the Net Mafia. In the first game, if you don't know, the bad guys were called World 3 or W3. I'll have to say this is another kind of step down. The Net Mafia kind of sounds rough, but World 3, it has a certain I don't even know how to say it, like certain untouchable quality to them. So you get to Yumland and you go into this area and it's like, oh boy, what's got to happen here? And then all of a sudden, you face Cut Man. And he's like, I'm with the Net Mafia. I'm paraphrasing a fair bit. And Cut Man, his whole thing is he throws out the little cut blades on the top of his head. And that's no good. There's your Sonic reference for you Sonic kids. He's not too tough, really. And then you beat him, and then several hours pass, and then is this when crazy things happen? Yes. No, that I'm thinking of something else. When you play so much Mega Man Battle Network 2 specifically, everything confused in your head. So afterwards is when the confusing, crazy stuff happens. You go back to Dad's office. And they're like, did you know the Navis who ruined Yum Land are coming here? And, you know, there's going to be people dealing with it. And Land's like, well, I want to help. And your dad's like, well, how about you do some side quests? So you gotta do some more side quests, you know, getting change.bat. And then while you're doing that, you know, all sorts of craziness is happening. People are taking over, and that is essentially that first Digimon movie. And then you go back to Yumland. Oh, this is the part I was talking about. You're like, oh man, I gotta get the super cool thing from Yumland. And you go to Yumland. And it's empty and no viruses. And you get change.bat. But the moment you get it, the security system goes off. It's like, what happened? And then you have to run out. You can't jack out. And then you have to fight, you know, enemy after enemy after enemy. And then at the end, you can just jack out back to Dad's and tell him, you know, what happened. You gave change.bat back to your father, and your father is like, oh, thank you for the program. And then you're like, well, we took it from Yumland, you know, taking it was, you know, illegal. And he's like, well, thank you anyways. And then you install it, and it turns out installing it is like the coolest part of this game so far. It's essentially gives you like an entire Pokemon battling system, or type system rather. You know, now you can change Mega Man's types, which really, I never really questioned why he couldn't do that. Well, he can really, you know, he beats enemies and then takes their cards, but this really develops on that system, you know, the Mega Man system of, you know, changing your abilities. And then, you know, it turns out something is infiltrated the square, and then you gotta go. It turns out Electopia was taken over. So you go back there with your new change style, and turns out people have been taking over the mother computer. Uh-oh. So we've got to save the day with our new ability. And they've been attacking the square as a diversion. So us with the top scientists have got to track down and save the mother computer. And this is I've said this before on the channel, one of my favorite, what do you call a trope? I guess so. A trope in video games where, every door we go through, we have to like leave someone behind. So that's just essentially this area. Like there's multiple doors, and then we go through, we do a little battle, and then someone's like, I have to be left behind. And also, each area, there's like a little maze type deal where it's like a brain teasing type maze, and it's not hard. Essentially, it's just like, oh, let me pull up one of these questions. It's like A, B, C, D, and then you have to hit E or something. One of these is like, there's a bunch of progs, and then they're like, one of the programs is lying. So you got, it's like one of the Ebe puzzles. And there's like a billion of these. And you go through, and you finally get to the end. Like I said, there's a billion. And then I believe this Shadow Man and Proto Man, they're showing down. And Chad is like, you have to go forward. I'll take him. Like in Super Paper Mario. Well, one of my favorite games that does this. And then you kind of have to leave him. And there's more you have to do in this confusing little maze. Not confusing, just like it's the same thing over and over. And very long. And then you finally get to the end. And then you finally face Shadow Man after a very lengthy thing. And his whole thing is he just like duplicates, and he's a ninja essentially. And to be honest, I don't really remember having much trouble with him. I just remember the maze. To be honest, if I had much trouble, I don't remember. And then after that, it's like, woohoo, we beat everything. And then the mafia's like, we'll get him next time. They'll remember the name of Gospel. That's everything I played up to. So far, there's been a lot of highs and lows in the Mega Man Battle Network 2 that we've played through. I'm curious what style change will bring about, and if there's more secrets that are yet to be unraveled. Like I said in Battle Network 1, I really want to find out what this series has to offer. And I want you guys to be curious along with me. So join us and me, join me next time so we can find out together for Mega Man Battle Network and Sonic Mania. See ya then.